everyone! With Thanksgiving coming up, I thought I'd bring you a thank you card to show someone how grateful you are for them. You'll need to start with a piece of paper that's 5.5 inches by 4.25 inches, and it can be any paper. And then just take a pencil and sketch out the words thank you. And just write it so it's about this size on the paper. Next, I'm taking a Tombow dual brush pen. You can use any marker you have, but this is easier if you have one of these. So it has the brush on one end and just a fine point marker on the other like this. Then just go over the letters, and I'm pressing harder on the downstrokes so it creates a thicker line. So upstrokes are thinner and downstrokes are thicker. But like I said, if you don't know how to do this or you don't have one of these pens, that's just fine, just keep watching. So it should look like that. And if you don't have one of those pens, just sketch out the words thank you just like before. And just take a fine point marker of some kind like a Sharpie and just trace over each letter, just keeping all the strokes the same at first. And then you can go back in and thicken all the downstrokes, just using this same marker. Next, I'm taking a piece of paper with a pretty pattern on it that's 8.5 inches wide by 5.5 inches tall, and folding it in half. So you should be left with a card that is 4.25 inches wide by 5.5 inches tall. And it looks like this. Next, I took the thank you that we wrote on a piece of paper and I flipped it over backwards, and then I taped it up against a window. Next, I took the pattern piece of paper, and you want to make sure that you place this over it just like I did. So you want that bottom rectangle and the fold up above, and then just go ahead and place that on the thank you and just decide how you want the words to appear on the card. And I wanted them to be kind of sideways. So I'm turning it like this. And once it's just how you like it, take a very small amount of tape and just lightly tape it in place. You don't want to have it too taped because it might tear the paper. Then just go over the letters with a pencil and trace around each one. You want to make sure that you're tracing around each edge. You don't want to just write the letter over the letter. And it ends up looking like this, and just go ahead and carefully take it off the window. Now we need to go through, and wherever there's a complete loop, we need to make it so it's not a complete loop. So for example, on this H, I'm just going to erase where it connects here and redraw it so it's not connected. And the reason for this is, if you were to cut this out connected, that whole part in the middle of the loop would pop out and you wouldn't have any of it left. So just go through on the A and the K and the H and the O and take out those complete loops. And once you're happy with how it looks, we're ready to move on to the X-Acto knife. So just carefully take an X-Acto knife and cut out each of these letters. Remember to be super careful, but press hard enough that you'll cut all the way through the paper. And on this U, you can see that I made a mistake and I accidentally cut all of the bottom part out. And that's okay, just save the piece that you accidentally cut out and we'll glue it on later. So it ended up looking like this, and just make sure all the pieces are folded and in place. Next, we're taking another piece of paper that's 5.5 inches by 4.25 inches. And you want this paper to match the pattern paper, but have a lot of contrast with it so you can read the words. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put some hot glue on the back of the cut paper and glue this piece inside. So it will show through the letters just like this. And then just go through and make sure that all the little pieces are glued in place. And there's that piece that I accidentally cut out, just glue that in place. And that is it. So I'm going to leave it up to you to write whatever you want on the inside, but that is the basic idea. And speaking of thank you so much for watching and supporting my videos. If you'd like to see future videos from me, feel free to subscribe. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you next Saturday with a Christmas tutorial.